Okay, so I love crazy build-around me's. I love synergy nonsense, and so basically the entire Kaladesh spoiler jumped out at me. Like if I had to pick a few cards, I would say Aetherworks Marvel and Aetherflux Reservoir were the two that I was like, oh man, definitely gonna build a deck with these. It's gonna be bad, but maybe it's gonna be good, and then it's like I'm gonna have a lot of fun. And so those were like the big two that jumped out at me.
Okay, so yeah, cards to build around in Kaladesh. So yeah, I'm all about Key to the City. I think it's just absolutely stellar. It's like a Jace, the Vryn's Prodigy, that doesn't die to removal spells. So over the game, it's just going to improve your card quality so dramatically. And being able to cast, to use it in concert with Fiery Temper, you're literally just casting Lightning Bolt, make a clue in Standard, which is a very good card. The synergy is undeniable, and the fact that you're able to keep so many hands on the back of, oh, I have a key, so I know that even if my hand's a little slow, I'll be able to ensure that my draws over the course of the game are going to, on average, outstrip my opponents. So yeah, I think a major key to success is Key to the City.
So there were a lot of cards that I really loved in the format. I think it's pretty amazing what Wizards has done with this set. One of the most fun cards that I think I've experienced is Metalwork Colossus. It's just been like this gigantic thing that you can put into play really early and then chain them together with some Sanctum Ugins, and it's just been really great to experience giant monsters trampling onto the battlefield.
It's the Borings v. Malshevitz answer. It's the cards that interested me the most when the set was printed were the Fast Lands and Aether Hub. So Concealed Courtyard, Botanical Sanctum, those cards, just the lands, because when you build decks in this format, you just have this really weird setup where you build like a green-white deck, and your mana is completely different from building like a red blue deck. And how does that affect your decisions when you're building a Naya deck versus a Teamer deck? What can you then put into different decks because of that? And just how everything shakes out because of that. That was really what drew me in and what I started off testing with.
Honestly, it was actually Aether Hub. There are so many possibilities with Energy and Aether Hub that Magic is normally a game of like wide and broad possibilities, and just because you can use Energy to repurpose it into anything, you can play infinite colors, infinite energy cards, and Aether Hub fuels all of it.
Oh, Aetherworks Marvel, hands down. I'm a big fan of solitaire decks. I know it's not like super interesting, but I've played Scapeshift and Volakut for so long now that you have to answer what I'm doing or you're gonna lose. So we're currently working on that, but that's the card I was most attracted to. And then I saw Skyship on the back end, and I was like, oh, that's just a 6/5 flyer for 5 that kills Planeswalkers. So those were the two cards I was instantly attracted to, and they're completely different strategies. So it's allowed me to see both ends of the spectrum of going for a combo control deck or any deck with Skyship Sovereign at this point.
My pet card from the set is Dynavolt Tower. It's a card that is obviously very centralized in the mechanics of Kaladesh because Energy didn't exist before then. And something appeals to me about playing a virtually creatureless deck because that's what that sort of card incentivizes. I think it's really difficult to make that card work properly, and I still have no idea if other people will figure out how to make it work in the Pro Tour.
The first card I actually saw was Ovalchase Daredevil. The reason because of this was I thought you could just like bring it back from your graveyard constantly by putting artifacts in play. If this is an artifact set, I mean, there's a bunch of ways of doing that. Much like Squee, old school ways we would do things, this would also trigger multiple times a turn compared to Squee. So if you compare things like clues from Shadows of Innistrad and other artifacts that you have in this set, like Thopters or Servos or things of that nature, I was trying to see if I could like discard this card for value from in multiple times in a turn or throughout the game to create card advantage or just board advantage in general. Having a 4/2 blocks and attacks fairly well against mid-range or control strategies. So if I could just do that over and over again, it would work out. I think it might be too slow, but I'm pretty sure we found a bunch of other cards that go well with that in general.
At first, the Chandra Torch of Defiance popped up because it has four abilities, and it's -2 destroys Kalidas. But after playing with it, I think Smuggler's Copter is the card to play, and it's pretty good.
It's definitely Cathartic Reunion because I'm in the camp that if you have 8 of a certain effect, you can really start to abuse it. I was already looking for, okay, what can we do with Drownyard Temple? We're losing Magmatic Insight, but are there going to be any other ramps? There's no Nissa's Pilgrimage, and instantly thought, okay, for Reunion, slots in perfectly. I was trying Reunion with and Tormenting Voice with ramp as far as there's no goggles, but you can still go to Worldbreaker. I was trying it out with, even in like a mono red deck that had Bedlam Revelers, Avacyn's Judgment, I had a couple Harness the Storms in there. I was trying all sorts of things because I feel that something like that where there isn't exactly like a dredge in the format, but as far as getting to actually go through, you can see 20 cards in just a matter of a couple turns. There's got to be something there, particularly with nothing to punish graveyard, nothing to punish actually casting spells because counters aren't very popular. That really got my juices flowing.